Good evening, everyone, and I'm back with you from my last Equity Outlook 2024 webinar. And I know some of the points I could not cover in my Equity Outlook 2024, and many of you people have written, so I thought, let me cover some of the other topic. Due to time constraint, I could not cover in my Equity Outlook 2024 webinar in this webinar. So I'm going to cover today, one definitely on the cryptocurrency, Bitcoins. Someone had asked me in my Outlook 2024 at the rate mojopms.com. Someone has written on that email ID. Someone had also asked about the dollar rupee rate, and why? Because of someone wanted to send the children outside India for future study, and if that is so, how one should go about doing that. Number 3, I'm going to discuss about the real estate, and someone had also asked about the crypto as well as the real estate. So I thought let me cover that also in that. And of course, how the market has behaved in the first few days of 2024. So before I begin, and let a small disclaimer that this webinar is only for an education purpose. Whenever you invest in the equity market, it carries a higher amount of risk, and past performance is no indicator of future returns. So let's try to address first. Bitcoins had a fabulous year. Am I right? It was one of the best year one could imagine. 173% gain in a single year, and that's clearly because of risk on strategy which was there in the market globally. Not only, sorry, even if you look at the what we call growth versus value, growth did extremely well. Now the question comes now, what next? And someone wanted to understand, should we still put money in the Bitcoin? And if you already put the money, what should you do? So I'm not an expert in Bitcoin, but based on the study analysis I could do, I came to the conclusion that it may not be a great year for the Bitcoins. For some reason, if you have invested, please lock in your profits. Chances are very, very high that you may lose substantial part of your loss, of your gains. You will wiped out in 2024. Why am I saying so? I'll give you a couple of reasons for that. Number 1 reason is mainly because of there will not be risk on strategy in 2024, and if that is so, Bitcoin will not get advantage of that. Second thing, I want everyone to read what is published in Financial Times today on the front page, and that article says, deluge of debt fits fear of backlash in bond markets. This is what the article says today in the Financial Times. So I want everyone to, so the reason is that the borrowings as a part of GDP has gone up substantially. That could bring in risk off strategy in the global market, and that's not something in favor of Bitcoins. So it's not only for the Bitcoins. I think whatever assets class which are perceived to be little risky, this should come under some amount of profit booking in 2024. Again, I must repeat that this prediction is not for 1 week, 1 month, 3 months or 6 months. This prediction is for the 1 year. And market by nature, any assets class by nature would have a non-linear price movement. So don't ask me next week or next month, अरे तुमने तो बोला था नीचे जाना चाहिए तो ऊपर चला गया. Very much possible. My prediction is for the full year, and that's what I strongly believe will happen. The question is that rupee is depreciating every year, and last year also, that is 2023, we did see minus 1% kind of a decline in the rupee. Now the question comes, will rupee appreciate? It's not that rupee has not appreciated against the dollar. If you look at since 2008, when the global financial crisis hit, it went down by 18%. You can see that data, am I right? But if you look at it, in 2009 and 10, it moved up by 4% 2 years in a row. And again in 2017, it appreciated 6% in the against the dollar. What this data clearly says that, and if you look at the data, barring 2022, which was a little difficult where a lot of FI sold out and other things happened, I think rupee has not depreciated much, 2%, 2%, 2% kind of a stuff, and then last year minus 1%. Our sense is that rupee has shown a lot of resilience in 2020 despite Fed hiking the rate of interest. There is a high probability the rupee should ideally logically appreciate against the dollar. Of course, I must tell you that even in 2023 prediction also I made that prediction. Rupee should appreciate, it did not appreciate. Why? Because the rupee went down by minus 1%, 0.65% to be very precise. But I maintain that rupee should appreciate, and there is a logical reasoning why I am saying so. Number one, we should expect a lot of FDI. If China plus one policy has to happen, if Tesla has to come, other manufacturing plant has to come, I think they will all call for a FDI. And FDI comes, that should bring in. Second thing, even though we don't expect FI to be as positive as they were in 2023, we do not expect negative outflow from FI, which should help rupee. And number three, India started buying a lot of stuff in the bilateral trade, in the sense we will not pay dollar, but we'll pay in a rupee. And that means the demand for dollar comes down. And when the demand for dollar comes down, rupee has a chance to appreciate against the dollar. So my sense is that rupee should appreciate. Even if it doesn't appreciate for some reason, do not expect substantial drop against the dollar. That's what the point I wish to say. In other words, the FIs, when they look at it, they would get very similar kind of returns in dollar and rupee. Why? Because rupee is going to remain more solid, more rock solid as compared to the dollar. And if that's going to be the case, previously, whenever you happen to listen to any experts, said FIs, even in the Indian market gives 15-16% return, FIs makes only 10% return because on an average 4 to 5% is a depreciation of rupee. Now that has not happened. And I think so that's not going to happen also going forward. And that should give some amount of comfort level to FI to come and invest. Because what would happen if rupee starts appreciating against the dollar, even though the Indian market gives 15-16%, if rupee appreciates 2-3% also, the return from the Indian market goes to 18-19%. So what previously used to take out that return in dollar can now add return in dollar. So that can happen. So I think rupee should appreciate logically, and I would not be surprised if it does so in 2024. The next slide has a very interesting data. And yesterday or today, I'm forgetting, I was just listening to the Loda of Macrotech developer. Now, if you happen to listen to his video, that's available on CNBC or something, he said that growth is expected in about 20% in real estate market. And how this growth will come is a function of volume and the value. The volume would be in about 15%, that's what he's saying. And value could be in about 5 to 6%. Now, that really made me surprised, because we're all talking about that prices are going up, real estate is doing extremely well. Of course, there are certain micro markets which would do extremely well, and there are certain micro markets which may not be doing well, because everything is an average of this one, am I right? So when you look at this CAGR, and that data I've taken from National Housing, NHB. Now, if you look at the data, and this data is for last 1 decade, I was surprised to look at the data. The ready to move is 4.5% CAGR growth in terms of price, and this is a 50 major cities of the country. Uska ye data hai. This is not one particular city, 50 cities. If you look at this composite index for the 50 cities, okay, so it's not a small sample size. Of course, there will be one city must have done better as compared to other and so on and so forth. But this is for the 50 cities. And under construction is 4.2. So logically, the under construction should always normally available at the lower prices compared to the what we call ready to move in. Why? Because you do run a risk of project not being completed. But if you look at last 10 years, ready to move has done 4.5%, CAG has come to under construction. But very interesting trend which I was looking at from this year, if you look at it, this period, which is from 2018, then, which was almost at the same level, under construction and this one, the price appreciation. Somewhere, the divergence started happening post-COVID. And if you look at the data, the delta between these two increased substantially, which is again trying to bridge that gap. In other words, whether it's a ready to move or under construction, both are having a similar kind of price appreciation. Now, why am I talking about this? The reason I am talking about this is that the real estate index did extremely well in 2023. It's one of the best sector of 2023. In 2024, again YTD, it has been the best performing sector. Now, the point I wish to say, if the industry is growing only at 5-6% price appreciation, volume gain you don't get it, am I right? Because आपको ना तो जो पैसा 100 रुपये में लिया है, and if you remember, I was asking Mohit, Mohit was discussing about that he has taken a house and housing loan, and he said I'm paying 8.3 or something, and I said if prices are going to appreciate by 5 to 6%, how does it make a sense to take a home loan when you are paying 8.6% to buy a house which is going to appreciate only by 4.5% to 5%? Doesn't make sense, am I right? Because your return on that assets will be negative, forget about positive. And Mohit did explain that, Sunil, I got it at a very cheap price and I'm going to use for my self-consumption. When you buy for self-consumption, then it has no, it doesn't make sense, because whether it goes up or goes down, you're not going to get out of that house because you are going to enjoy that assets with your family. The point I wish to make limited here is that too much excess optimism has been built into the real estate stock prices. One has to be extremely careful, and I was listening today that one of the leading brokerage house from foreign downgraded real estate companies. There is a huge optimism that is there in the price. Assume that industry is going to grow at 20%. It doesn't justify 100% jump in the index. Somewhere market will get cognizant of fact that, and see, I was explaining risk on and risk off. So when there is a risk on strategy, real estate should normally be do well. Okay. The moment if the market has to change the gear and has to go to the risk off strategy, it should not do well. That's what my limited understanding about it. So hence, again, if you are making a good gain in real estate, of course, it's stock specific I'm saying, but be careful. And if you wish to lock in profits, it may not be a bad idea to do that. No one can sell always at the top of the price. Once you accept that fact, I think your life will become little smoother. Now, look at this. What has happened to YTD? YTD is as of today. Nifty Realty is up by 10.7%. So if you look at it, the Nifty is down by 0.9%, Sensex is down by 0.12%, and yet Nifty Realty is up by 10.7%. Nifty Pharma, which is at the second, 3.1%, and then public sector continues to love. Small cap and mid cap outperform, both are in green, while the Sensex and Nifty are in red. This is only 9 days of 2024. We don't have to conclude anything based on that because this is too short a period to make. I just wanted to give you the flavor of what is happening in the first week of 2024. I know 11th January, that is Thursday, we will get CPI data from the US. and there is a possibility that inflation may uptick, we'll see moving up. If you remember, for the month of November, it was 3.1%, and right now consensus seems to be that it would be 3.2%. That means it's going up. We were all happy if the trajectory goes down. If it goes up, again there will be a debate when and how much Fed is going to do rate cuts. If you look at Eurozone, which data got announced a couple of days back, 2.9% for the month of December annual inflation as compared to 2.4% of November. So that's gone up. RBI has anyway given indication that not only the inflation will remain at the elevated level for the month of November, which we have seen that, it will remain elevated level even for the month of December. So somewhere, I think the inflation trajectory which was going down can go up. And if that's going to happen, we need to understand then what happens to the rate cut, what happens to the sentiment. So with this remark, let me open the floor for question answer. Over to you. Ankit is saying, sir, by when we can expect to see Mojo portfolio for 2024? So, sir, I think that question that you need to ask to Karan, because he's the best person to answer that. I have moved to the PMS side of the business, so I will not be able to give any Mojo portfolio. I used to do that, I agree with you. In the previous years, I used to do that. But Mohit has given one Diwali portfolio, which he declared in November 2023. I think that portfolio still, and Karan, yesterday also when he made a presentation, he did cover that, what happened to the stocks and how it is performing. So right now, I don't think Mojo portfolio, I may be wrong, only Karan can answer, but I don't think it's on an agenda as we speak. But what you can do, sir, you can go to the MarketsMojo website. Based on your risk profile, you select the model portfolio and then select the stock and then put the value that you wish to invest in. It will give you a stock, and that is the Mojo portfolio for 2024. Ramesh sir is saying, greetings from Madras, sir. I had put a question on to Karan. Karan told you that you yourself the best person to answer, and raised the question again, sir. The question is electronics and electric, tires, and more on recycling. And there are a couple of stocks available in tons of electric parts are thrown. Sir, kindly education to electronic products and tires waste and more on recycling and a pollution-free environment can be created of according. Thanks, sir, with warm regards. So, your question is right, sir, that I think there is a huge, so you're right, there is a e-waste, electronic waste that's happening across the world. And there are companies now in our society also, they have created a campaign to collect the electronic waste so that it can be reprocessed, or it can be what we call processed in a manner that doesn't harm the environment. But it's a big challenge. I agree with you, whether it's a mobile phone, whether it's a laptop, whether it's a keyboard, whether it's a mouse, and so on and so forth. I think that's becoming a big issue for electronic e-waste. And I think there is an opportunity also, because someone will come out with a solution to resolve that. A solution in the sense they will, they will process electronic waste in a manner, or a tire in that manner, it doesn't pollute the environment. So there's a huge opportunity. So remember, in the world, I've always seen, whenever there is a challenge comes with an opportunity. If you keep looking at the challenge for a longer period of time, you'll miss out on opportunity. So convert that challenge into opportunity. I think world is definitely geared up to do that. So yes, it's a short-term challenge, but I think we'll be able to find solution. And I think globally everyone is want to do that. In fact, there are many products now, they said it's made from recycle. If my memory shows me that even the latest phone of iPhone from Apple is produced from the recycle. In fact, I've seen, I'll tell you, what did I see? And it said 60% has been recycled from the product manufactured 60%. I can't recollect the product when that was done. So I think recycling is in need of an hour. And I think a lot of people are working in direction to get the solution on that. Mainak is saying, which sector will be the most affected by the US Fed rate cuts? See, only because of Fed rate cuts, there is no kind of a linear equation कि ये हुआ तो ये होगा. I think there are various permutations, combinations one has to look at it. We expect a Fed rate cut to happen, if at all has to happen, by June 2024. So I think this question is still premature. Because at that point of time, what is happening with the global economy and so on and so forth. So I think we need to look at in the context of at that point of time when the rate cut is announced, what is happening globally. We also need to understand what is happening locally. Who has formed the government, who has not formed the government, what is their RBI statement, how the economy is shaping up, and so on and so forth. If you have attended my webinar last Wednesday, I made a presentation about that crude oil, and I clearly showcase that there is no strong negative correlation between the stock prices and the crude oil prices. Market moved up when crude moved up. So sometimes, because, and I'm not saying that is because market has welcomed crude oil price, but there were other factors basically. So despite crude was going up, there were other factors which were pushing up indices higher. So we need to understand the net impact. So my understanding is that purely because of Fed rate cut, will some company will get benefit too much in India? The answer is no. I think market will look at what is the permutations, combination of that. Because there will be some positive factors and there are some negative factors. The pool of both basically will decide what's happening there. अमिताभ सर, अमिताभ जी बच्चन नहीं हो आप, अगर बच्चन जी हो तो धन्यवाद सर आपका हमारे वेबिनार में आने के लिए. Request your guidance on what percentage of our capital should be deployed at present in stocks under the present market conditions of volatility and uncertainty because of forthcoming election. So sir, if you have invested in equity market already, then only thing I would suggest, don't take out the money but reshuffle your portfolio based on the new dynamics. But if you are not investing, you are sitting on a sideline, I have suggested you can invest in a staggered manner. Don't invest everything at one go. Invest in 3, maybe monthly or 2 monthly installment. In other words, for example, today is 9th Jan, am I right? So you decide to invest today 9th Jan. So suppose if you have 30 lakhs, I'm just giving an example. You invest 10 lakhs on 10th Jan, 10th March another 10 lakhs, and 10th May another 10 lakhs. And that's how you can invest that. But irrespective of market conditions, you should do that. Why? Because market, so suppose we invest on 10th Jan. By March, the market sentiment goes bad. I'm just giving an example. Or it does extremely well. You should not postpone or prepone your third. If market is doing well, then you will get tempted. If market is down, don't get worried. Why am I putting money? Let me put the money in the month of May, not in the month of March. They should not do that. So this is the way you can do that. We again repeat, 2024 is going to make a nice base for market to give handsome rally in the subsequent years. So I think do not miss out on this opportunity to create a huge amount of wealth. Please appoint some expert to answer stock-specific queries in webinars if Sunil sir has been restricted due to regulatory provision. So Prakash sir, the beauty with MarketsMojo is that we have a recommendation on each and every company on our website. Why do we need an expert? It's all there available. You search even a micro-cap company and the report is available, our recommendation is available on that stock. No expert will be able to cover and have a view on 4,000 companies. Even I don't have that. So I think the beauty is that our MarketsMojo website does give a very clear-cut guidance about which companies buy, hold, and the sale. So why do we need an expert? I don't understand that. Why do we need to do that? Frank is saying, Sunil, what do you think about crypto ETF? If Bitcoins are not going to do well, I assume that even crypto ETF will not do well. I would stay away from that. I don't invest anyway, but I would definitely stay away. Having said that, this is not a risk on market 2024. Definitely, I would stay away. What about bond market when interest rates start coming down? Yes, Ajit ji, that could help. So we need to also again see what is happening globally in the bond market. There are some reports which I am reading are not very favorable. So logically, when the rate of interest goes up, the value of bond goes up, the price goes up. Value of this one, why? Because it's inversely proportionate. Yes, logically it should do well, but my worry is this actually. One should have a clarity of mind. Okay, what I wish to do, how do I wish to create wealth in over a period of 3 to 5 years? Minimum, I'm saying. Of course, you logically should invest for 30 years. But if you invest in equity, it will always give you better returns. But if you wish to do assets allocation and should you invest in bond, yes, you can do that. But do in a good quality bond, because I do see some default happening globally on the bond market. Bala is saying, Dear Sunil ji, I had earlier requested you to show the correlation of stock indices with gold price over the long 20-30 years. You are going to say the same in the subsequent webinars. Kindly say the same. Okay, sir, I think I have forgot about that, Balaji. I'll just try to see if I can do that maybe on my Friday webinar or maybe then next Tuesday webinar. Just WhatsApp me this so that at least it remembers me. And WhatsApp to Ziad also so he remembers that so he can make this presentation. So I will do that. My sense is that in last 20-30 years, I think, see, both would have done extremely well. Both gold would have done well, both the stock would have done well. Now I know sometimes people do come out with the report saying that both if one goes down, other one goes up. ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है कि वैसा होना चाहिए. I'll give you classic example 2002 to 2008 really. Even gold moved up as well as the market moved up. So 20-30 years, I would not be surprised that the stock indices would be positive, and so is the case with gold. And the difference between these two may not be substantial. But nonetheless, since you have asked for it, I'll definitely try to say that, because Indian market in rupee terms in last 20-30 years would have given me about 14-15% CAGR. Gold would have given 10 to 12% most probably. But anyway, we will come out with the data. Why? We see, remember, gold is India is a price taker for the gold, not a price maker, despite we are the second largest consumer of a gold. See, the worst thing in India is that we do not exercise as a buyer to control the price. India is the second largest consumer of gold, and yes, we are price taker. India is one of the largest consumer of crude oil, but we are the price taker. And I don't understand why someone who are basically making our policy cannot exercise that power. And as a buyers, you do have certain leverage with you. Why are you not exercising that? Now, coming back to that price, the point I wanted to mention about that, gold also get benefit of the price depreciation. So in last 20-30 years, on an average, the gold, the rupee would have depreciated against the dollar on an average 5 to 6%. Now, that could also get converted into the returns for the gold investors. Why? Because the price of gold goes up, because India basically imports gold. And hence, I'm pretty confident that the difference between gold and the equity over 20-30 years would not be so significant. Vijay is saying, we enjoy your webinar and thank you for your knowledge. Thanks a lot, sir. I also enjoy. That's why I'm in front of you, because I love interacting with you people. You also force me to think a little differently, because your question also forced me to think in a different manner, and that also helps me to make the investment strategy right. With MM, could make around 10 to 15% return for interest in PMS. However, when I'm making 10 to 15% with Mojo, why do I have to go for PMS? If you could make the return between 10 to 15% for PMS post charges, then it will be lost. How much return one should expect in case 70% after more than 5 to 10 years? So, Vijay ji, first thing, let me answer your last part of your question. I will not be able to give any indicative returns from the PMS because regulator says you should not do that. And it's rightly so, because if I tell you I'll make 40-50% return, you will get carried away by that, am I right? And you will put that money. If future to किसने भी देखा नहीं है, am I right? To get your money, I can do overselling to you, am I right? I can overpromise you. So what we say, we are very transparent people, we are very honest people, we are very straightforward people. We believe Indian equity market should do extremely well in 5 to 10 years. If that is so, our PMS strategies should be able to outperform significantly to the indices. And that's what we are saying to our PMS customers. One of the reasons why Mojo PMS is one of the fastest growing PMS in the country, not only in the Bombay or Western region, in the country, purely because of our honesty and transparency that we've come across to the investors. So, and I must tell you one more thing. If you invest for 5 to 10 years, I can tell you with a lot of confidence that PMS would have given higher returns post-phase as compared to the MarketsMojo returns. Why? Because we have a superior IP with the PMS. And hence, many times you would see that what IP is available in the MarketsMojo and what IP we are using, it's quite different. And based on that IP, we are confident that we should be able to not only generate alpha over the benchmark, but even alpha over the MarketsMojo model portfolio strategy. Rahul Kumar is saying rupee should hamper IT export company profits. Your view on these companies? To Rahul Kumar ji, when I did my equity outlook, someone did ask me about my view on. We don't believe that the IT should outperform in 2024. And this is a little contra view because I was talking to another fund manager a couple of days back and he said, Sunil, आप बहुत contra हो because market में सब लोग बोलते हैं कि IT ही चलेगा. But I believe IT should be a little challenge. My worry also comes if the US is going to slow down, the business volume that we are generating from the US client will come down. Pricing power will take. On the positive side, they do have a leverage on the employee cost. Why? Because electricity rates have started coming down drastically. But overall, we don't expect IT to outperform significantly. Having said that, we do own in our PMS IT companies, and that we continue to believe should do well. In fact, they have done extremely well for our investors. They were negative for some point of time, but now they're in positive. So we own certain companies within the IT which should do well, but overall, and this prediction is for 2024, we will get enough opportunity to exit from those companies also which are holding in PMS to at the profitable level. But overall, I believe that, and my view is not because of rupee likely appreciation against the dollar. That's not the reason why I want to basically believe that IT should perform in line or cannot outperform. My reason is more because of macro factors, and that's the reason I don't think IT can outperform in 2024. That's a little contra view. Divakar sir, please make your video in Hindi language for better understanding. Make some videos in Hindi. How can I use your app for better portfolio outcome, or how to use different segment of your app? I'm having portfolio 50 lakhs. When I see your video in English, I move away. At same time, other app like Stockage, they make Hindi video. How to use them, but I find you more knowledge giving and different than them and anyone else. दिवाकर सर, मैं आपको जवाब हिंदी में दे देता हूँ तो आपको थोड़ा समझ में आ जाए. आपका सवाल यही है कि हम हिंदी में वीडियो बनाएं. सर, मैंने कम से कम 2021 और 22 में कम से कम 15 से 20 वेबिनार हिंदी में किए. दोनों साल में 15-20 2021 में, 15-20 2022 में. पर सर दिक्कत ये है कि जो हिंदी में सुनने वाले हैं वो बहुत कम आते हैं. गिने चुने लिख के लोगों के लिए अगर मैं हिंदी में वेबिनार करूँगा ना मुझे मज़ा आएगी ना आपको मज़ा आएगी। तो इसीलिए हमने हमने भी ये सोचा कि बोला हिंदी में करना चाहिए। तो सर हम इसीलिए नहीं करते बिकॉज वहाँ पे ऑडियंस कुछ ज़्यादा नहीं आती हिंदी में। अगर आप लोग बोलेंगे कि नहीं हमको हिंदी में कंफर्टेबल है, हम करने के लिए तैयार हैं, मुझे कोई दिक्कत नहीं हिंदी में बात करने का आपसे। बट हमारा दिक्कत यही है कि भाई हमें बंदे चाहिए जो सुने हमें। अगर वही नहीं होंगे तो फिर एज ए स्पीकर ऑडियंस ही नहीं होगा तो मज़ा नहीं आएगी ना स्पीकर को भी। तो इसलिए हम हिंदी में नहीं करते हैं। लेकिन दूसरा एक हो सकता है कि आप जो वीडियो आप जो मुझे सुन रहे हैं उसमें आजकल तो ऑटो, इसमें ऑटो ट्रांसलेट हो सकता है कि नहीं हो सकता है? आई मीन हाँ, नो नहीं हो सकता। अच्छा एंड रिकॉर्डिंग के बाद हाँ ओनली कैप्शन फॉर यूट्यूब पर हिंदी में आ सकता है वो। तो आप कैप्शन इन यूट्यूब में देखोगे हिंदी में कैप्शन आ सकते हो, ऐसा जो आप उसको यूज़ करके आपको थोड़ी समझ आ जाए मेरे ख्याल से। पर मैं क्षमा चाहता हूँ आपसे कि मैं हिंदी में नहीं कर पाता बिकॉज ऑडियंस नहीं आ रही मेरे को। अगर आप मुझे बोलो कि मैं आपको ऑडियंस लेके आऊँगा, पब्लिक आएगी, मुझे कोई दिक्कत नहीं है हिंदी में बात करने की आपसे। आमिर एक भी बताना मुझे कि अपन कैसे कर सकते हैं बिकॉज इवन आई वुड लाइक टू नो। Kedari saying, good evening, Sunil sir. Can you please briefly explain what is the risk on strategy and risk of strategy? Whatever I could find out from the internet, I was not able to correlate with the context in which you mentioned in your today's and past webinar. Okay, what is risk on and risk of strategy? और ये तो ये सरप्राइज होगा जब I was giving one interview to one of the financial journalist 2-3 दिन पहले, और this journalist, lady journalist was also not aware what is risk on and risk of. तो शायद मुझे लगता है कि ये वर्ड थोड़ा काफ़ी पेचीदा लगता है तुम लोग को। सो लेट मी एक्सप्लेन व्हाट इज रिस्क ऑन। वी हैव स्विच इन आवर होम, लाइट है ना घर पे ऑन ऑन ऑफ करने के लिए। हम लोग जब ऑन करते हैं तो क्या होता है, लाइट आ जाती है, और ऑफ करते तो लाइट बंद हो जाती है। वैसे ही ऑन कर रिस्क ऑन मतलब रिस्क ऑन करना मतलब आपको रिस्की एसेट्स में जाने के लिए तैयार हो, आपको रिस्की एसेट्स में पैसा लेने आप डालने के लिए तैयार हो। यू आर विलिंग टू टेक मोर रिस्क टू इन्वेस्ट इन अ रिस्की एसेट्स, दैट इज कॉल्ड रिस्क ऑन। यू वांट टू वेलकम द रिस्क बिकॉज यू आर विलिंग टू टेक दैट हायर रिस्क इन होप दैट यू विल मेक हायर रिटर्न्स। व्हाट इज रिस्क ऑफ, कि आपको भी रिस्क नहीं लेना है तो आप इक्विटी एज एन एसेट्स क्लास है, क्रिप्टो करेंसी है, बाकी जो रिस्की एसेट्स है उससे आप पैसा निकालते हो और फिक्स इनकम में डाल देते हो बिकॉज आपको रिस्क ऑफ हो गया, रिस्क नहीं लेना है आपको। लाइट ऑन लाइट ऑफ, एम आई राइट? तो जैसे लाइट ऑन किया तो लाइट आ गई, रिस्क ऑन किया तो रिस्क आ गया, रिस्क ऑफ किया तो आपको रिस्क नहीं लेना, तो आपने अपने एसेट्स वहाँ पे डाल दिए। केदार, आई होप दिस एक्सप्लेन्स यू सर, but in case if I am not able to articulate properly, please feel free to ask me because I do understand. As I said, even one of the leading financial journalists, जो journalists थे, even they could not figure it out. She could not figure out what is risk on and risk off. Lakshmi saying, do you think before falling, Bitcoin will touch its previous high? Also, the US government is going to approve crypto ETF and will bring a lot of money into crypto. Sir, as I said in a very humble manner, that I'm not an expert on the crypto market. But whatever other parameters available, you always connect the dots in life. So I'm not neither an expert on crude oil, I am not an expert on Forex. And yet, when you connect the dots, it gives you some kind of an idea. And those ideas could be wrong also, I must tell you, I admit that. Am I right? So my sense is that will it touch previous high? It can before falling. I'm not that you need to ask some technical analyst to do that. My prediction is for the 2024. So if I have to look at point-to-point returns from the beginning of 2024 to the end of 2024, logically Bitcoin should be down. That's what my sense is. And government of bringing crypto ETF and so, let them bring. I don't know what money will come, what impact it would have. I'm not very sure, sir. Sir is saying, please tell you whether logistics and transport sector performance last year through the good economic growth has been observed to. Are you also using metal sector to consider China economy factor? So, sir, logistics and transport, logically should do well in 2024. Why? Because economic activity will remain at the elevated level because of election, because of government reforms and so on and so forth. The only thing government, and of course a lot of infrastructure projects are going on stream, like in Bombay only, we will have this coastal road which will be ready. The first phase will be ready by, I think, 11th Feb or something, and the second by May 2024. Second thing, Bombay has a trans-harbour link, which Mr. Modi, Prime Minister Modi, is going to inaugurate this week or next week, Amir? That trans-harbour link? I think this week, or maybe this week or next week. Metro 3 is going to go live and so on. So a lot of projects are there. So I think infra will keep logistic and transport sector buzzing, no doubt about it. Now coming back to the metal, I think metal we need to be, see if the world economy is not going to do well, metal could see some amount of pressure there. So we need to be a little careful there with the metal and see what needs to be done. It remains stock specific. Overall metal may not outperform in 2024, it looks like at this point, purely based on the global outlook, on the economic outlook, doesn't inspire much of this one. And coming to China, I think China is going to go slow down in 2024 as well as 2025. That's what the prediction OECD has given, and we'll go with that prediction only. 12th January. So that is this Friday only that is being inaugurated, Mr. And that's a beautiful, I think I would request those who are not from Bombay, please Google search that, and there are nice videos available. It's one of the longest bridge over the sea, over the water that has been created on the eastern front. The Bandra Silik is on the western front. This is on the eastern front of Bombay. Very beautiful. 22 kilometers, 26 kilometers kind of a bridge has been created. Wonderful bridge has been created. It's a delight. In fact, this will going to cut the time between Bombay to New Bombay and Pune. Sushant is there a session explaining the PMS service provided by MarketsMojo? There is nothing, but what I would request you is that if you are interested, my team will reach out to you and will help you to understand what is PMS and other things. More than happy to help you. I mean, just please jot down and forward it to me. I'll ask someone to get in touch with you and take you through the complete process. We don't do any webinar for exclusively only for this. Imtiaz is saying, I have strong faith in markets and today I am sending my PMS application to your office. Thanks a lot, sir. And we'll ensure that we do whatever best possible so that you make money from our PMS service. Thanks a lot, sir. It would have gone for processing, and very soon you will be onboarded on PMS service. Alap is saying, Sunilji, I was traveling, hence missed 2025 Outlook. Can you share a link to or run the recording of the same? It is very important. Is it available on the website, Outlook 2024?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
So if you go to the MarketsMojo website, I think the link is available. You can go listen to that link and you will be able to see the recordings of the... it's on a YouTube, am I right?
Yes.
You go to YouTube, search for MarketsMojo, and then you will get the video on equity outlook. You listen to that, you will be able to understand what we are saying. Sunita is saying, should we invest in gold ETF? The answer is yes, because we do believe that gold should give double-digit returns in 2024. Other PSU and IT ETFs, since our views are not so gung-ho about IT sector, it will be market performer at the best. I wouldn't recommend so. PSU, again, I think if it is, within that, we do believe that defense and railway should do well. So if that more of an exposure is from the defense and railway, then go ahead. Otherwise, you need to be a little careful. If it consists of more of a PSU banks, then I'm not sure it's going to work out that way. Gopinath ji saying, I have around 50 lakhs in mutual fund with XR of 15.5. Should I keep it in mutual fund or invest in equity? Gopinath sir, it's all depending upon which scheme you have invested. See, without looking at your portfolio construct, it's very difficult for me to give a comment. 15.5% CAGR is not bad, okay, but it's not good either. It's an average, I would say. And of course, you have not mentioned, sir, which period that 15.5% has been made. If it has been made in last 2 years, has it been made in last 3 years, is it made in 4 years, 5 years, longer, and 15.5%. If you say it's in 20 years, you made 15.5%, I would say it's a good performance. Am I right? If you say I did made in last 1 year, I would say it's not a great return. So it also matters not only the number, but which period we are talking about. So, and second thing, you need to also understand what schemes you have invested. Not all mutual fund outperforms, am I right? And I did presentation with my PMS customer. That was, I think, Thursday I did, am I right? So I'll show you some slide if you can, and how mutual funds have underperformed in last 1 year. And the data, the basic data, we took it from what we call MF India, and then we work on that data, which gave us some idea about it. So I will just explain you that. कभी क्या था, हम लोग ने इसको 4 Jan को किया था, okay? Can you see my presentation? This data is as of 3rd January. So, because I made the presentation, if you look at this data in a very, this one, what it says that only 8.8% of the AUM has outperformed the benchmark, their respective benchmark. Each scheme would have a different benchmark, this compared with their own respective benchmark. And 16.7 schemes have outperformed. In other words, 83 underperform in terms of scheme and 91 underperform in terms of value. Very similar story with mid-cap. Flexi-cap again is a tossing a coin. Multi-cap again not so great. And focus is something very similar. So the point is that you need to be really in a good scheme to, otherwise if you happen to be in a wrong scheme, then there is a probability that you may not make money. Market may make money, you know. In fact, I was surprised to know the divergence between the best performing mutual fund scheme and the worst performing mutual fund is very, very huge. Someone in last 1 year must have given 20% positive returns and someone given minus 9% return. Now look at the delta between these two. So sir, I don't have your scheme. I will not be able to comment on. And again, you have not mention 15.5% for which period? Chanchan Vivek is asking, is it possible we can start the period 20 lakhs? I wish I could take, but the SEBI clearly says it is not. All customers we can onboard should have minimum 50 lakhs ticket size. I'm sorry, I would suggest you to please use Mojo 1 till such time your 50 lakhs have not been there. And once you have 50 lakhs, we'll be happy to onboard you in our PMS service. Taha Narsim is saying, please do webinar on power of compounding. I think it's a very good suggestion. And I'm going to accept your suggestion, Taha. I think it's needed because I think many people don't understand the power of compounding. And I give and which I mentioned in one of my webinars, I don't know whether you people attended or not. I was reading one book, and this book is basically about talking about the foreign investors, not the fund manager. He said in his history, the fund made in excess of 20% return. I can't recollect the number, so I don't want to be wrong. But the fund manager says that the highest return made by investors was only 8%. So what happened? Some investors came in one point of journey, got out of that. Then again, some new investors coming in, got out of it. But the guy who basically invested the day first and the last would have made in excess of 20%. Unfortunately, not many people basically did that. And that's the power of compounding. If you remain consistent with the, of course, you need to definitely evaluate the fund manager. I'm not saying you should not do that in a block of 3 to 5 years. But if you are willing to, ignore that interim volatility of 3 months, 6 months and 1 year, And as long as that fund manager is able to roll out, rolling 3 to 5 years return is making good decent return, please stick to that. And the more you remain invested for that assets class for a longer period of time, the money will come. I will definitely do that. It's a very good suggestion. Only thing, I'm not getting enough time to make presentation, but it's my promise that I'll definitely do that. And if possible, I try to do in January 2024 only. Oh, thanks a lot, Kedarji. Samir Singh, your sessions are really informative. I just last one you mentioned silver will outperform the gold as an asset class. Can you please to help us the reason in details? There are a couple of reasons I'll say. Okay, the production of silver is going to come down by 2% in 2024, but the demand for silver is going to remain robust. That's a simple law of economics. If the demand goes up and the supply comes down, what happens? The price goes up. Now, silver has a very good use in some of the green energy. The whole world wants to move because of global warming to the green energy solutions. Am I right? Whether you look at EV, whether you look at solar panel, even the 5G needs a silver. Just Google search silver plus 5G, use of silver in 5G, and you will come to know what is it. Just use Google search EV and use of silver, you will get it. Use solar panel and the silver and you will get Google search. It's all available in public domain. मैं आपको जो बताऊँ, मेरे पास ऐसे कोई secret knowledge नहीं है. ये सब available है public domain में, आप कर लो. The reason why we believe silver should do well because of supply constraint and demand is going to remain robust. That's the reason we believe silver should reasonably do better as compared to gold. Jigar is saying, I happen to miss your opening part of presentation. Please share your views on the current market situation way forward. So, sir, our view is very, very clear cut, and that's what we stated in Equity Outlook 2024, the full year. I think market is going to get consolidated from this level. Market will remain little choppy also, purely because of news flow, either coming in from the domestic or from the international market. And hence, you have to be very, very clear in terms of your stock selection. Quality will get more importance as compared to momentum in 2024. In 2023, the momentum was much better as compared to quality. So, guy who basically stick to quality would have underperformed significantly in 2023. And the quiet guy who basically ignored quality and said momentum pe khelna hai, he would have made a lot of money, he or she. Exactly opposite will happen in 2024, where quality will get preference over the momentum. And of course, in my initial remarks, talked about cryptocurrency, I talked about rupee versus dollar, and I talked about real estate. I don't want to repeat those because it will bore other people, but that's what I did actually. Yeah. Padma is asking, Sunilji, when we'll get the MF portfolio? I'm waiting for long. Can we expect in this year? See, I don't want to commit anything which I have no control over. I must be very frank with you. My request would be you please ask Karan on this, because Karan is the best person to answer, because your query pertains to the MarketsMojo. I have no idea where in the scheme of things this model portfolio, mutual model portfolio has been scheduled in. I have no idea. And I don't want to just give you a wrong answer also. No, it will come in 2000. I think Karan is the best person. You should ask him, and he will sincerely give you an answer. Should we expect in 2024 or not? So I know we are almost now 1 hour. It's almost 8 now, and my team is saying that we must shut down this webinar now. So thanks a lot, everyone. I thoroughly enjoyed. In fact. You people say that you enjoy my webinar, but it is equally the pleasure is mine. In fact, I definitely enjoy interacting with you. You people ask intelligent question. It also helps me to keep on my toes. To when I come before you, I need to come prepared, and it forcefully forced me to read more to help me to answer the question in the right manner. With this, take care. Have a great time, and see you soon for Thursday. So tomorrow Karan is going live with a webinar on stock of the month. Thursday, I'll be in front of our PMS customers with some interesting data on the companies and so on and so forth. It's a very interesting data that I'm going to present to our PMS customers. On Friday, I'll be open, the webinar will be open for everyone, including PMS customers and other MarketsMojo customers, about the future insights. So, in fact, it's a power pack schedule in terms of webinar. Please do come and attend those.